So I think the conversational AI market is as a super interesting place right now. Why do I say that? Especially if you're talking about internal enterprise automation use cases. Now, on one hand, you have these large enterprises, these companies, brands, which have gone remote or are going remote at a blatantly fast pace because they have to adapt to the new normal. On the other hand, you have its stakeholders, which can be companies, their employees, their vendors, their partners, their distributors, or whoever the internal stakeholders are that they interact with. Now, this interaction means money for them. It's super, super critical for them. Uh, uh, on the same note, you have these stakeholders, which are people like you and me, which are spending more and more time on digital platforms than ever. Just take your, I have spent possibly 30 to 40% of more time on LinkedIn in the last 3 months that I did before this, right? Uh, Now, between the entity one, which is the company, and between the entity two, which is, for example, employees, there is a tangible communication gap which is existing right now. Now, this communication gap is there because there are no physical interfaces left for brands and their employees to interact at scale. I'm talking about, let's say, 10,000 employees as 50 different countries, right? This continuous 24/7 this continuous communication, it, human communication is not just possible, right? Because of the logistical problems, obviously. Uh, I think companies are inherently and intuitively, natively looking for solutions which can solve this problem of a missing communication interface or a missing communication layer. Now, this problem will be solved by a solution which is built on three features. The first is scalability, the second is automation, and the third is being natively present on digital platforms. Now, if you ask me, this is the exact damn perfect template for which a conversational AI solution or a chatbot or a virtual assistant is built for in the first place, right? Your solution is scalable, your solution is built in automation, your solution is natively built on these digital platforms, right? So what there's a trend that I'm seeing with companies, and which will, in my opinion, will definitely take off in Q3 and Q4, that uh, companies right now are in the settling mode. Right now they're figuring out how remote works, and they will do it in definitely by the fag end of Q3 and Q3. So I think when that happens, and during that process also, a requirement and a need of a solution which bridges the gap between a company and its 10,000 employees in 50 different countries, for example, will skyrocket. Companies with enterprises will natively look for these solutions because uh, any other solution is just not scalable, is not on digital platforms, and is not automated except a virtual assistant or a chatbot in very simple terms. So I think, I mean, the reason that I'm saying is that uh, I think that in Q3 and Q4, the conversational AI market just went up for grabs, guys. I mean, the amount of leverage, natural leverage, which is available on the table right now, possibly for the next 6 months to 9 months, is absolutely insane because there is a target market, which is enterprises, and uh, these target audiences have inherently more demand, inherently more problems that your solutions can solve by definition, right? So, as an action item, I think if you sell chatbots, you should seriously think of ramping up your marketing, your sales, and business development efforts. Basically, anything that gets out the word in the market, and try to reach these enterprises at this point of time where their demand is right now maybe latent, but in Q3 and Q4, definitely this internal automation demand will skyrocket. Skyrocket may be an exaggeration, but will dramatically increase, I think, right? Uh, and I don't think so. This situation is going to repeat. I think the vendors, conversational AI vendors who utilize this sweet spot of Q3 and Q4 in 2020, I don't know how long is that going to be, are going to see relatively, and I think possibly substantially more and higher growth rates than their competitors. And I think reaching out to these enterprises at this point of time fast is very important because I, on a personal level, believe that conversational AI is a winner takes all market, especially if you talk of large enterprises. And the dust is already settling down. People and startups and companies who can't really automate conversations using NLP, they're not getting any business whatsoever. So I again, this is my hypothesis. I don't know if it's true or not, but I, as a hunch, I believe this to be true. And yeah, so I mean, if you sell chatbots and if you solve problems of enterprises which they face internally with their employees, vendors, partners, or distributors, sales channels, or whatever, this is the damn time to just put your foot on the accelerator or your branding, marketing, and sales efforts, because this leverage is not going to repeat itself. The next 6 months, the companies who are in front of these enterprises and the companies who have a good and a comprehensive product are going to win, and win big time, because the leverage is just natural, and it just does not make any sense for you to not be aggressive in your outreach efforts right now. So I hope you do that, and I wish you good luck. Thank you. Let me know what your thoughts are. This is what I think, and I, of course, I can be wrong here. So yeah, thank you. Bye bye, and good luck.